Quick educational video on zone 2 and using Apple Watch. So the Apple Watch now calculates zones, and it calculates zones using a thing called the Carvonen method, which is a lot better way of working out your heart rate rather than 220 minus your age. But we'll get into some of that. So zone 2. So today I did my Lumen score, woke up as a 1. So this is a perfect time not to do anything too intense, but to do some zone 2, practice some zone 2. So I measured it on my Apple Watch, making sure that I was in zone 2 on my Apple Watch, which is your heart rate, and then cycling in zone 2. So zone 2 is your heart rate, but I'm cycling on the bike, which is producing watts. So my average watts today were 147 watts. I like people to see if they're efficient at burning fat. They should be 1.5 times their ideal body weight in watts. So I'm way over my ideal body weights in watts. Awesome, good work, Angus. And my average heart rate was 133. So my top end of zone 2, according to my Apple Watch, and also according to DFA Alpha 1, you can check out my other video on that. 140 is my max end of zone 2. So what does that mean? Why is that relevant? So your zone 2 is your watts. You can calculate your watts. So watts are just a unit of energy. So you can calculate your watts. I think it's 3.5 times. So watts per hour multiplied by 3.5 will give you your calories per hour burned. We don't burn calories per se. Calories is a unit of measurements. If I have a plastic stick that's 10 centimeters long and a metal stick 10 centimeters long and whack you on the head with both of them, the length of the stick is irrelevant, okay? But we still measure it. We don't say that the centimeters don't exist. We burn, if we can see down here, fat and carbs, and we measure those in calories. Because I woke up as a 1 in Lumen, because I know I'm fat efficient, I've trained my body to be good at fat efficient, at burning calories at higher intensities, not high intensity, higher intensity. So a lower intensity would be if I held 80 watts, that would be a lower intensity. 147 would be a higher intensity. 160 would be even higher than that. So it's just an intensity, which just means I would have burned more calories. If I was holding 80 watts, I would have burned less calories. If I did 160 watts, I would have burned more calories. And again, calories are just a unit of measurement. Because I'm in zone 2, because I measured a 1 in Lumen, I know that I burnt that energy from fat. Little sub note, I don't know if you can see this up here. This is math. Your math number is Guy Philomathotone. When he first sort of started discovering heart rate monitors back in the 70s, people actually laughed at him for using heart rate monitors, which is similar to what's happening in the Lumen because it's such a new technology. People really don't understand it, and now everyone uses a heart rate monitor. Anyway, he came up with this thing called the math score, which is 180 minus your age. And math, even though the guy was called Mathotone and this is called math, this isn't named after it. What this actually means is maximal aerobic function, which is the same as zone 2. This is the maximum aerobic function before you switch over to using anaerobic systems, which means more carbohydrates and less oxygen that you're breathing in. So this is maximum aerobic function. 180 minus your age is the equation he uses. That correlates quite nicely with my Apple Watch, but the Apple Watch is better because it uses the Carvonen method. Hope that wasn't too confusing. Zone 2, super important to get it practiced. I've got an ebook, link in the description, it's free. But this sort of covers most of the things you guys should know. Speak to you later.